Saturday Matters. As most of you know, this is Sam's last day here. If you can, join him at the zoo. What a wonderful going away party. Or don't pass up an opportunity to thank him for being here with us for a while. Not long enough, but. And our videographer is officially, the kitchen has provided us with treats. And we have here at the microphone our favorite Russian, Alex Reikhel. He's going to really demonstrate the breadth of his intellect. We've heard from him on his distinguished scientific career in entomology. We've heard about his growing up in Siberia. He's had quite a lot of interesting things to say about art. Now he's back to a more technical subject, one that has kind of made a lot of us feel unbalanced and uneasy, but also extremely curious. So go ahead, Alex, tell us, friend or foe, or the jury's still out, whatever.
Good morning. Today we'll discuss artificial intelligence. Only yesterday, a story of AI sounded like a scientific fiction, yet today it is a reality. The evolution from science fiction to the everyday has been incredibly fast. At present, AI is deeply woven into our daily routines. It has penetrated finances, science, and technology with unprecedented speed. We are witnessing incredible progress in the AI revolution. So what is artificial intelligence? It is capability of computational systems to perform tasks typically associated with human intelligence, such as learning, reasoning, problem solving, perception, and decision making. This is a portrait of Jeffrey Everest Hinton. He is a British-Canadian computer and cognitive scientist. He is a Nobel Prize laureate known for his work on artificial networks. It earned him the title the Godfather of AI. He is a university professor emeritus at the University of Toronto, so he was a key person in developing the principle of artificial intelligence. There's several, I will not dwell on this slide, there's several areas: machine learning, deep learning, machine learning, and artificial intelligence, which mimics the intelligence of humans. Here the participation of different countries in development of AI. And you can see China is leading the AI development. And this data from 2024, and it's remained the same now. So another thing we have to consider, which some people consider negative, it's an enormous demand for electricity. By 2035, the demand in electricity will double due to AI. Global data center consumption projected that it will be double by the 2035. There are extensive efforts in building electrical power plants. There are plans to create AI power plants in space and oceans. And again, China is leading these efforts. You can imagine this will create a global problem because some countries don't have energy and others do. So, we becoming a key driver in innovation and growth in the financial sector. This AI advancement enables smarter, faster, and more scalable solutions that redefine traditional banking and investment models. AI analyzes vast data sets to forecast market trends, optimize investments, portfolios, and predict cash flow for businesses. I'm sure your savings already managed in some degree by AI. Yes, well, ask your financial advisor. AI transformed how financial institutions process data, automate workflows, and interact with customers. By leveraging machine learning and predictive analytics, AI reduces risk, cuts operational costs, and delivers hyper personalized services. It detects fraudulent transaction in real time. This is very positive. So this is something from New York Times. Anthropic, the AI company behind the chatbot Claude, confidentially filed an initial public offering, becoming the latest to join what could be a once-in-a-generation money-making moment on Wall Street. And this is big hype now. Anthropic is expected to be among a trio of high-profile companies preparing to go public this year, along with the rocket company SpaceX, this Elon Musk company, and OpenAI, which started the AI boom in 2022 with its GPT chatbot. That's enough about finances, which I am not an expert. Artificial intelligence in biology is a revolutionary field, applying machine learning to decipher complex life processes. It accelerates genomic decoding, sequencing, map proteins, protein structures. It drives novel drug discovery. These 3 points I will discuss. Advanced AI approaches are rapidly transforming how biological data are acquired and analyzed. By evaluating vast biological databases, AI enables researchers to predict genetic behaviors and simulate cellular interactions with unprecedented speed. And this we'll discuss. So AI penetrates all areas of biosciences. In research and data analysis, which is important, reduction in human errors, and animal biotechnology, agriculture, industrial biotechnology, and what is also important in medical biotechnology. It's involved in drug discovery, healthcare, and if you go to emergency room now, doctors use AI. Last time I was, and my son said, "Oh, you were treated by AI." Whether it was good, I don't know. So let's go deeper. So DNA structure. Why I will explain why I'm talking about it. The language of life. Most of you know that this is coded by the so-called nucleotides A, T, C, and G, and they kind of make pairs, and this make a letter and make a double helix DNA is called genome. The human genome contains approximately 3.2 billion base pairs of DNA in a single set. Because most human cells are diploid, meaning you receive one set from each parent, a typical cell actually contains about 6.4 billion base pairs of DNA in total. So try to figure out from this. And that's what genome decoding and sequencing reading is a daunting task because of this. The $3 billion project for sequencing of the human genome was formally founded in 1990 by the US Department of Energy and the National Institutes of Health. In addition to the United States, there were several other international consortium. The human genome was completely decoded in 2003, so it took 13 years to figure out. AI has made it possible to analyze individual human genomes with the goal of disease identification at kind of no time. So dramatic progress. AI scans billions of genetic base pairs to pinpoint markers for inherited diseases, accelerating the mapping of mutations or not normal mistakes and gene editing. So this is a dramatic progress. Let's go further. The central dogma of molecular biology describes the unidirectional flow of genetic information within a living system. DNA, which we just described, transcribed into RNA, which is then translated into proteins. Transcription is the first step, the process where segments of DNA, now hereditary material, are used as copy to create messenger or just RNA, transferring the genetic code into portable format. So this is the language of DNA. Life, DNA we can compare with a novel. It's a long, straight, uninterrupted sequence where our heredity, our story is written. So in a process of transcription, we take a phrase, RNA, which has a start and stop. So that's what we need to know. And after this, there's a translation, the process where the RNA sequence is translated into a specific chain of molecules called amino acids, which then fold into a functional protein. Translation from the genomic language to proteomic one. And this is a language, again, translation from RNA to the chain of amino acids. You can see little circles. So this is a linear amino acid chain. Depending on their combinations, they form different shapes. And this is a functional protein. You can see so-called tertiary structure and 3D structure, which determines properties and functions of this protein. So it's important for us to understand this 3D structure of protein, but it's very difficult. So I'm not going to go through this diagram. I just want to say it is a laborious, very expensive process to understand the so-called 3D structure of protein. I will give an example. The three-dimensional structure of oxygen-carrying protein hemoglobin was solved by Max Perutz using this technique, X-ray crystallography, in 1959. Later, 1970, Perutz and his team refined the structure in much more details with high resolution. This landmark achievement led to Perutz being awarded the Nobel Prize in Chemistry. It took 11 years to complete this project for a single protein. Well, what's going now? AI models like Google DeepMind, AlphaFold have solved 50-year-old biological challenges by predicting 3D protein structures that originated from linear chain of amino acid sequences, heavily impacting disease research and drug discovery. Who is behind? David Baker, Nobel Prize winner in chemistry in 2024 for computational protein design. He is a resident of Seattle and a professor at the University of Washington. We are proud to have him here. Sharing with him two youngsters, Demis Hasidis and John Jumper, are pioneering scientists in Google DeepMind, who jointly with David Baker were awarded the 2024 Nobel Prize in Chemistry. They developed AlphaFold, the AI model capable of predicting the three-dimensional structure of virtually all known proteins. So can you imagine the difference? 11 years it took for one protein, and now all proteins can be solved. So drug discovery. Because we have this ability to know proteins, the AI, and instead of years of trial and error drug testing, AI computationally screens millions of new potential drug compounds, vastly speeding up the timeline for bringing new medications to the patient's market and reducing the cost. This is a model of a protein, three-dimensional, and for simplicity, it's presented like this, and you can see the toy-like structure. This is a drug. It can twinkle different shapes computationally and see how it fits and what potential action. In larger magnification, this drug, again, can look, and this red is a protein folds, and you can see that this drug molecule attached to protein in 8 contacts, suction-like cups, and 2 marked by blue arrows. So depending how many contacts, it depends on the properties of the drug. And computationally, AI model can say this drug will be stronger and other will be weaker. And it depends what we need. This will be predicted and after the synthesized and tested. It's kind of remarkable progress. So researchers train AI to map gene networks and model entire disease representations to see exactly how cells adapt and interact in real time during this process. And lastly, I want to stress the incredible contribution of AI into disease prediction and diagnosis. I bring one example, Alzheimer's disease. Analyzing clinical and imaging data, AI model was able to detect and predict progression of Alzheimer's disease with accuracy of 94%. So this is a big future. So now we're going to education, which is of course important. So AI in school education is reshaping teaching and learning by automating administrative tasks, providing intelligent tutoring, and hyper personalizing the curriculum. While AI saves educators hours of preparation, it also requires careful oversight to prevent students over-relying and to ensure equitable access. Key benefits of AI in classroom: personalized learning, intelligent tutoring, tutoring systems adjust the pace, difficulties, and style of material to match individual student needs. This is important, very important. Time saving for teachers. AI tools handle lesson planning, grading, and administrative workflows, returning nearly 6 hours per week to educators for now. Whether this is positive or it will lead to unemployment of some teachers, that's a big question. Immediate feedback, instantaneous assessment point out students' strengths and weaknesses in real time, so teacher can see immediately. Accessibility, AI-driven translation, text-to-speech, and transcription make education more inclusive for diverse learners. This is important for different groups of students. Primary concerns, equity and digital divide. Unequal access to advanced AI tools risks widening the technological and educational gaps between different school districts. Depending on school district, that you know, our system is not perfect. Critical thinking. Educators worry that an over-reliance on AI to write essays and solve math problems can stifle students' independent problem-solving skills. We all know when calculators came to life, we stopped calculating in mind. We always rely. When telephones came, we don't remember. Now, telephones, even of our children. And this what can happen even more dangerous thing. And so, did you write anything? I wrote my name. That's good. Okay, if this is the future of school education, then that's another question about. Transformation of higher education, and the AI tools like ChatGPT have become as ubiquitous as Wi-Fi, shaping how students research, write, and even think. Yet, as these digital assistants become indispensable to students, many educators, especially those less familiar with the technology, find themselves on the other side of a growing digital divide. And certainly it is a big problem. This is data of survey of 2024. 86% of students already used AI in their studies, and 54% use it daily or weekly. This is something to worry. 69% informed that they used for search for information, which is positive. Check grammar. Well, 33 said they summarize documents but 28% said they paraphrase document and create first draft. So this is a worrisome indications that AI can be used improperly. With concerns over growing dependence on AI, institutions need to ensure that AI is being used properly and students are trained to manage the output of AI tools. For example, after the AI program chat, GPT became available, students' essays suddenly used a diverse and colorful language, but lacked truly creative ideas. In a separate study, the team of researchers found that the human written essays offered up to 8 times more new ideas than those produced by AI. So there's a dramatic difference between quality of language and ideas. As universities adapt their curriculum to incorporate AI tools, there is a pressing need to redefine the skills that students must acquire to succeed in rapidly changing job market. This includes not only technical skills related to AI and data analysis, but also soft skills such as creativity, emotional intelligence, and adaptivity, which are increasingly valued in the workplace. Institutional responses right now are very different. The integration of AI into higher education has prompted significant policy shifts as organizations strive to balance innovations with ethical considerations and academic integrity. Some universities, like California State University System, have embraced a proactive approach, partnering with AI developers to roll out customized tools across their campuses. The California State University System broader AI initiative was introduced in February 2025, anchored by almost 17 million deal with OpenAI company. The initiative provides a total of 500,000 licenses of ChatGPT.edu to be issued to all students, faculty, and administrators. At the same time, this was the largest single institution deployment of ChatGPT in the world. Elsewhere, cautions prevail. Concerns about cheating and the erosion of academic standards have led some universities to restrict or even ban the use of AI tools in coursework. Higher education institutions must consider how effectively boost AI literacy to equip both students and academics with the skills to succeed in an AI-driven world. Something from editorial work from the New York Times. The author of the non-fiction book about the effects of artificial intelligence on truth acknowledged that he had included numerous made-up or misattributed words concocted by AI. The author, Steven Rosenbaum, whose book, The Future of Truth, that's probably the future of truth, was released this month to great fanfare, incorporated more than a half a dozen misattributed or fake quotes in sections of the book reviewed by the New York Times. So, whether he did it on purpose or not, it's not clear. The rise of artificial intelligence has set off fears among publishers that they may accidentally release books from authors who improperly used AI-generated language. This year, the publishing house Hachette pulled a forthcoming horror movie novel due to allegations that the author relied on AI to draft the book. So this is probably a future that will be, in many cases, in art and music and literature. So this is what is coming. So let's talk about job safety. AI is fundamentally reshaping job security by automating routine cognitive and administrative tasks, potentially impacting up to 30% of US jobs. However, this shift primarily devalued repetitive roles while increasing demand for skills in critical thinking, human empathy, and AI management. 51% of all US technical jobs questions require AI training. This is coming. The Industrial Revolution rendered human muscle power obsolete, and the AI revolution will do the same to mundane intellectual labor. Predictions are that jobs like entry-level IT professionals, legal assistants, and paralegals are at immediate risk. This is an example of what's coming. Robots run laboratory in Japan, and this is very complicated operations. Research hope to build a facility with thousands of robots capable of performing experiments independently. These robots contain artificial intelligence software, so they're able to think and improve experimental methods. So this is sophisticated, so they will also replace some scientists. And this is just a title from Silicon Valley, from New York Times paper. The Silicon Valley is bracing for permanent underclass. Unless it's retrained, they retrain. It's still, too many people now work in IT, and so this will be a problem. The OpenAI company chief executive Sam Altman predicted that within decades, unstoppable AI systems would be able to do almost any job a human could, and thus would shift power from labor to capital. His proposed solution was to aggressively tax assets, land, and AI company shares. If public policies does not adapt accordingly, most people will end up with worse off than they are today. Mr. Altman. The real threat is not robots, but a corporate greed. Greed-driven corporations and individuals disregard potential risks of AI systems. Little has been done for the AI safeguarding. Hinton's concerns echo those, you remember Hinton is a godfather of AI. Concerns echo those of AI industry leaders who have all expressed similar worries. Hinton criticized AI companies for prioritizing profits over safety. If you look at what big companies are doing right now, they are lobbying to get less AI regulations. There are hardly any regulations as it is, but they want less, Hinton said. AI companies should dedicate significantly more resources to safety research. And because can AI get out of hand? Yes, AI can absolutely get out of hand, though the risk is quite different from science fiction Terminator scenarios. Experts warn that AI systems are already showing concerning behaviors, while some researchers worry about AI learning to evade human control. Immediate and practical threats like massive misinformation and job displacements are already here. The recent high-profile safety tests reveal that some of the world's most powerful AI models have actively tried to avoid being shut down. In experiments, AI programs have rewritten their own codes to disable human-created shutdown mechanisms, lied to human operators and attempted to cover their tracks, resorted to blackmail and or manipulation to prevent their creators from deleting them. This is what's going on. While immediate dangers, Hinton cautious against using AI for mass cyber attacks, bioengineered viruses, and lethal autonomous weapons that could choose targets independently. And this is a line of unemployed IT specialists, and this person cited Hinton. This is an existential risk. The goal of advanced AI systems are likely to develop two primary sub-goals: staying alive and gaining more control. Because AI learns at exponential rate, it could soon surpass human intelligence, making it impossible to control. Is the future of humanity bleak? Geoffrey Hinton, widely known as a godfather, warns super intelligent machines could soon pose a threat to humanity. He believes that it is a legitimate 10 to 20% chance AI could eventually take control from human and decide we are no longer needed. And this is a world without humans. As AI erodes, ordinary workers leverage. It may concentrate power and wealth in large companies and the US government. Two entities whose interests are increasingly linked. AI-related investments, such as software and data centers, accounted for 39% of US economic growth in the first 3 quarters of 2025. That gives the federal government a vested interest in sustaining the AI boom. This concentration can lead to the reluctance of tech companies to criticize the US government. And the government support for extreme anti-regulatory policies on AI. That's a big problem. It is time for Congress to act, not with rules that treat every AI startup as a national security threat or stifle the many beneficial uses of artificial intelligence, but with focused, durable obligations for the most advanced models. The bipartisan draft bill reportedly expected this week, I don't know, and it's a promising sign that this work is already underway. Obligations should include robust safety and security testing, secure development practices, and responsible control and deployment. This is a citation from New York Times. The future belongs to humanity, and AI should serve but not rule us. Thank you very much.
Open the pod bay door, Hal. Y'all remember that? Okay, I see 3 hands up right away, so I'm going to start here and work my way.
This is a very interesting subject, and it made me go to my computer to do a little bit of research before the talk, which I thought was comprehensive and good. And in terms of the effects on humanity, I think we are already seeing substantial effects at the population level. There are currently 5,400 data centers in the United States, and they use a huge amount of water. Google, for instance, used 6.4 billion gallons in 2023, and one training session for the GPT-4 by Microsoft is equivalent to the water use of 130,000 citizens in 1 month. So that's the use of water. The other thing is that data centers actually die. They have to be replaced every 4 years by a completely new setup. So you realize that everything that's in that data center has to be dumped, and then they have to move it somewhere else and build another one. I don't think that's generally known. And only 22% of the server waste, that's the electronic waste, is recycled. It contains hardware, rare earth elements, and pollution, huge amount of pollution. All that stuff is landfilled. We don't know where, because those data centers are not regulated by the government. So there's a vast amount of contamination. In 2022, there were 10 million tons of waste from servers. So if we have a big problem. Then I'd like to switch to something else. What is AI trained on? Because it's basically trained on vast amounts of information from books, science, and so on. But it's trained mostly on European materials, not from any other countries. It's also trained on 100 languages, even though there are 7,000 other languages in the world. So this is white biased in a big way. My final point is that we already have a lot of AI among us. There are people known as AI influencers. There's a woman called Lil Miguela who appears for fashion magazines Chanel and Givenchy. She lives in LA. She speaks many languages. She never goes to bed. And Miguela charges only $9,000 per post. I don't know if you know that human influencers can be paid $250,000 per post on the web. So I think AI influencers are going to be financially much more interesting. There's another one called Ludo Magula, who's Brazilian, and she has 8 million followers. So it's all around us. And one final comment Alex made about the discovery of these wonderful drugs and things. I'd like perhaps for him to suggest how we're going to have everybody pay for these wonderful drugs. Does the AI have a system of allowing the general population to pay for the wonderful new products that are coming from AI? Thank you.
Thank you, Peter.
Thank you, I guess.
One of the first things that came to mind when I saw the title of your talk was the splitting of the atom, and for good or for evil. And I think this is like that on steroids.
So, I was thinking about the medical field. I imagine Peter knows much more about this than I do, but it's been used, for instance, this stuff I think is out of UW, probably my neurology routes, grand routes, that brain tumors, gliomas are hard to differentiate when the normal brain and it becomes tumor. It's really difficult. I can remember that I had 6 months of neuropathology, and but AI can differentiate out, mark out which are cells that are cancer or pro-cancer, so they can make more precise surgery and so forth. Which is a remarkable thing. But the other thing is, so years, we had to take these. I had to take neurology tests, board exam. It was 8 hours alive. It was really exhausting. And I talked to one guy just a few years ago that in one of these he had a actor presenting as a patient, but now there's nothing. Actually, this is from a current neurology grounds. It was a neurology or medical ground rounds that they're having an AI making an AI patient, and I shudder as how it's going to affect medical learning.
Robots will be treating other robots? Okay.
And I've had some experience with Stasi and KGB, and I always have marveled how efficient and quick they are, and that was decades ago. So I spoke with an AI specialist recently and asked, should we worry about what we say and what we do? That absolutely. Every word which is said here through our iPhones can be misused. So government policy in authoritative regimes will use AI at great risk to all of us.
Okay, Al and then Carol.
Well, obviously the technical issues are daunting, but if the current trends continue with corporations getting richer and richer, impoverishing a lot of people, we're probably going to face the issue of totally reorganizing our society. Some sort of redistribution of what wealth is generated rather than the big boys get it all.
This relates to the two topics that you dealt with regarding biological sciences and education, and how the results, let's stay with the biological sciences for now, how the results of what AI is coming up with are being verified and monitored. For instance, any new development or discovery currently is published in a journal and is sent for peer review so that other minds can look at the data, the way the system was developed and so on. And then they decide if mistakes have been made and if it can be replicated and so on. So I don't see how that's
being prepared for with the use of AI? Because it sounds as if people are thinking that AI has got the right answer already, better than our answer. And I also worry about that in education, because you mentioned that some of the teachers feel as if they're getting left behind. With these curricula are being developed by AI, and the teachers then have to use them, who is monitoring those curricula? Who's reviewing them and saying, wow, is this really what we want to teach? Or, you know, it seems incredibly worrying and complicated.
Yeah, there's a big questions which arise about in front of educational system, medical, scientific community, how to review and what is allowed. Some journals really state that there's no, like Proceedings of National Academy has a statement now, no AI material is allowed. So you have to sign before submission of this kind of a statement.
So I can just imagine economic warfare with all the AI in one country deciding, okay, we're going to do this financial buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, crash, and then on the other side.
Peter.
Me again. One other more rather darker perspective may be, since we know that Elon Musk and Peter Thiel have hoovered up vast amounts of data about the whole population of the United States, that we are in for some big brother stuff if the present government stays in power. And there'll be some decisions about what is going to happen to our assets. And even decisions maybe in 5 years' time as to whether we are allowed to exist even. Because what are old people useful for, according to AI? Nothing. So we may be seeing another kind of elimination process.
Are we going to make it to 2029?
Alex, thank you so much for your excellent overview. One question.
Thank you.
Did you use AI in putting together?
A good question. I look in the eye, and one moment I look at some material, and I had a call on my computer. And suddenly, the question was, I don't remember because I freaked out. And suddenly computer said, AI call. And I freaked out.
Shut it down immediately. Well, you certainly give us a lot to think about. You know, so far the only grassroots kind of opposition I've seen is for its use of power and water,
Yeah.
which is extremely significant. That's one way of assessing cost and benefit. No, okay, good.
To continue the atomic idea, Hanford was built where it was, or where it is, because of water from the Columbia River. There are now a number of small towns in central Washington which are no longer small towns. They are not affordable, and mega data centers are being built along the Columbia River to answer just that problem and the question of the availability of water for cooling.
Yeah, I think we're vulnerable here because we have relatively cheap electricity.
So I just have a question. Does anybody know, after that water is used for cooling, can it be further used, i.e. for heating, or is it toxic?
That's a good question.
Good question.
Yeah, all those resources, have they become something unusable to humans?
it's used for cooling, so it's exterior to whatever the facilities are. Unlike radiation, which can contaminate and radiate the water, this is simply for cooling. It can go back into the, it's not like, I'm not sure where all those estimates of millions of gallons disappearing. Water is a closed system. It goes up and it comes down. And any water that's used for cooling is going to go back into the aquifer or into the groundwater.
If it doesn't cook a lot of organisms in the meantime, you mean?
It'll be cool.
That's right. Well, yes, Lowell just said they cool it first. Maybe, I remember decades ago in Scotland when they built the first nuclear power plant, then they put the water that was used for cooling back into the rivers, which killed the salmon, because you need cold water for salmon. Could happen here.
I might add from my experience in Oregon that Bonneville Power Authority is actually going to be raising rates to pay for the electricity being used by these data centers. That includes the infrastructure. So it's got a direct effect on people. It's not a question of, oh, well, you're going to pay a lot more for electricity. And I pay you the same here in Washington, but that was true in Oregon.
I just would like to comment on Peter's mention in waste. I'm sure this waste will end up in Africa somewhere.
Yeah. Some country that doesn't have the wherewithal to resist it. Huh? Okay. I need to tell you, I don't have anything scheduled for next week. Just, a few things happened, unless there's someone who wants to step up and volunteer for the 13th. But otherwise, that will be a canceled session, but we will keep on, and we have some pretty cool stuff coming up. Thank you all.